Hello everyone and welcome to Friday. We are actually starting to vlog off in the middle of our gaming stream, our Mario Maker 2 stream, which a few people have lovingly referred to as Evening Mario, since it's not technically in the morning. Mal's currently playing. We're going through story mode, and we've been making, I feel like, pretty good progress. We're like halfway through all of the levels by now, right?
I don't remember.
This is roughly half. I know that the chat wants to say hello. So I'm gonna turn the camera around so they can say hello. Hi, chat. I hope you're all doing well.
Don't forget about the dip.
Mallory really wants me to show off the dip. That was one of the things that she worked on today. Was getting a buffalo chicken dip ready. It's not quite Nikki's recipe, but every time she makes it, we really love it. So we are kind of like doing our own variant of it, although they're very similar, but also like still a little different. So we're gonna keep tweaking it.
I just died.
I'm sorry. You have more lives.
I know.
So keep trying.
That's what I'm
doing.
doing.
Your best. There's also something else I want to talk about today, which is the lights for the desk mount. I mentioned I was going to talk about that yesterday, so I'm going to talk about that in the next clip. All right, everybody, say goodbye. You have to leave now. We have to go back. We have to go back to playing more Seesaw Mario. Stream just ended, and the stream went well. It was fun to play through more of the story mode from Super Mario Maker 2, and especially to do so in a live environment, which is not what I normally do for Mario Maker. Now, for half of the audience, you were here to see that, and you're excited about that. The other half of the audience clicked on the video for a different reason, and it's because I'm titling it Elgato Key Light Alternative. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about how I changed my setup in here, and one of the things I mentioned was getting these lights all set up. These are the Fovitec/Studio Pro, depending on where you get them. 600 LED panels. We have 1200 LED panels in my wife's studio, and they work really well, but we didn't need that much light up here, so we have two 600s. They come as a set, and they come with the barn doors and everything. This is just diffusion fabric that you can use. Now, I have been using these for this area, but I needed to find something that would work on my desk, and I considered the Elgato Key Light, but the problem is they're so expensive. So this is the alternative that I have, and let me turn these on so you can see exactly how bright they are. And they're, well, they're pretty bright. They're pretty bright. And the nice thing is that they match the color temperature, there we go, of these other lights. So whenever I want to record something with green screen, which is what I normally do for our Morning Mario series, I got the green screen down there, the Elgato one that just comes up, and I can use these to light the screen, and then I can use these to light me. Now, finding alternative lighting instead of the Elgato Key Light is not that big of a problem. You can, for example, you could get these. You could use these as an alternative, and these are actually still cheaper than the Elgato Key Light, and these put out a heck of a lot more light. But instead, I went with something that was a little cheaper, and these panels, specifically, are called Daz Knee Panels. I believe the model is D50, and I found out about these from another YouTuber. There was a video on these. I believe they were, the video was created by Vox. I'm not sure if I'm saying that username correctly. But it's a good alternative because the panels are already a little diffused, whereas these are just the LEDs coming straight out, and it's not very diffused. These are already pretty diffused. Now, I found that they weren't diffused enough, which is why I have some diffusion material draped over them. But they're pretty nice little panels, and they're very, very cheap. You get both panels and the stands for I think there was a coupon too online, so I think it came out to like $160. So essentially each panel was $80 a piece, and that's an astoundingly good deal. However, one of the other advantages of the Elgato Key Light is that it has a desk mount, and for whatever reason, those are very hard to get. They don't seem to make desk mounts for lights. I'm not sure why, but they should. So originally when I had set this up, I had them on stands behind the desk, and I found that to be not what I wanted to do, because my desk had to come out and that was irritating. So I decided that I would find some way to mount these to the desk. Well, there were some other people I saw online that were also struggling with trying to figure out what is a good alternative for Elgato Key Lights where we can mount these to the desk. And I actually stumbled across a Reddit thread, and I'll put the link to that in the description, of some people that were talking about this, and someone actually came up with a solution which is pretty ingenious, and it's to take a clamp that has a screw mount on top and then just attach it to a monopod. And this monopod in particular has screw mounts on both ends, so then you can get as much height as you want. So as you can see down here, this is on a clamp, so it's clamped to the desk, and then it's got a screw mount here, and this is where the monopod starts. And because it's adjustable, you can make it as high as you want, and it can actually get pretty tall. I found that this is a pretty good height for me, but you could adjust it however you'd like. So that's super cool, and it got me, it allowed me to push my desk back to, you know, the wall again, which is exciting. Now, one thing that differed from my setup, between my setup and that Reddit thread, is that on the Reddit thread, they had a different set of lights that had screw mounts on the panel itself. So you could screw the monopod basically directly into the panel. And the monopod and the clamp actually come with ball heads. So by the time you're done buying the stuff, you have a handful of ball heads that you may or may not need. Anyway, whenever you're using these panels specifically, the D50s, they have a more traditional mount, and that is like this mount. It's, you know, it doesn't have a screw mount, it's just a hole, and you're supposed to put something in the hole. So I actually have a solution for that, and that allows me to use the desk mount as well as these Dazzne lights, which I personally prefer. And I'll show you exactly what that is. So let me turn off this light and then unscrew this so you can see exactly how this works. So this just screws on. You can see it's a little wobbly, but as long as you're not like violently shaking the desk, it's not a big deal. Let's see, righty tighty, lefty loosey. There we go. So when we take this off, so I'll unscrew it and pull it up. And whenever I take this panel off, again, this is a pretty typical mount that you would see on the bottom of a light panel, or most lights for that matter. And it's got this little hole. So what you can buy, you can actually buy these little things, which are adapters. And these are, in my opinion, these are just worthwhile to have anyway. They're little adapters that they come with a bunch of different pieces that allow you to screw almost anything into anything else. I highly recommend just having these around anyway. It'll allow you to do 1/4 inch, but then also 3/8 inch screws. So you have, is it 3/8 inch or 5/8 inch? I can't remember exactly. But it's the two different like cinema style screws. And you can attach a lot of different various things this way. So by doing this, this is normally where you just, you know, have your screw mount that would go into a panel that supported that. But because mine don't, I just screwed this little thing on, and that's it. Now it just slides onto this like it would a C-stand or something like that. So whenever I pick this back up and put this back on, it just slides right in. There we go. And then you just tighten it up, and that's it. So yeah, shout out again to the person that discovered this in that Reddit thread. It's a really good little hack. Now, of course, this is going to add some cost to this, but it's still cheaper than buying 2 Elgato Key Lights. An Elgato Key Light, which comes with the panel and the stand, is $200. You're going to get both of the Dazzne lights for $160, and then the monopods are $20 and the clamps are $20. So you're spending $160 plus $80, so it comes out to like what, $240? So for $240, you can have essentially the same thing as the Elgato Key Lights. Now, you don't have the Wi-Fi controls, admittedly, but these also do have different color temperatures. Not as wide of a range as the Elgato Key Lights, but still, you're saving a considerable amount of money. And you also have to really ask yourself if you really want that Wi-Fi control. I didn't. I just knew I wasn't going to use it. I'm going to turn on my lights, make sure that they're set correctly, and then I'm not going to touch them. So if that's you, this might be a good setup for you. But again, special thanks to that entire Reddit thread, because there's a lot of good information in there. And then also Epos Vox for pointing out these Daz Knee panels. I've been using them for a little bit now, and they seem fine. You know, they seem functional. So I understand that, you know, with a lot of the cheaper panels, you can run into problems. But, I mean, the alternative is spending a lot of money on lights, and I've had pretty good luck with LED panels just in general. We had an issue with one of my wife's lights with one of the 1200 LEDs with the power supply, and Fovitech actually replaced it. They sent us a new one for free. So at least the companies are standing behind anything that has issues. Anyway, so that's it. I just wanted to throw that in there so this information was out there on the internet. If you're looking at the Elgato Key Lights and you're like, oh my God, they're very expensive, you're not wrong, and there are ways to get around this. So I would just consider this option, because this might be right for you. I'll put a link to these kits, the Daz Knee lights, the monopod, the clamp, and then also the little screw adapters in the description. So if you're looking for any of that stuff, you'll find it down there. And if you have a custom solution of your own that works, let me know, because I'm always curious what other people are doing. I've been really happy with this, but I'd love to hear other thoughts and ideas. Oh, and I'll put a link to the diffusion material as well, because this stuff's great. It works really, really well. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?